to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during any question. You can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights?
Your crime spree was over, son. Yeah, you thought you had it licked, but Hitman and Overton made you sugar turn to shit. Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Warning. Each episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, will contain descriptions of acts of violence or of a sexual nature and are for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I do not get the facts of these cases off the internet or from some television show. These facts I'm retelling were presented to me by the victims of the crime or the perpetrators who committed the crimes. My descriptions of the crime scenes are what I saw with my own two eyes. If you are going to get offended, turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And I'm your host, Woody Overton, with none other than Jim, the Hitman Rathman. And one day we'll get to telling y'all about that. But Hitman has always been my nickname for him and always will be. And we will lock that up on a future Patreon episode. But hey, y'all, you just heard it live and on the air for the first time. Our new music by our Real Life, Real Crime's new musical artists, professionals, whatever you want to call it. But what do you think about the song, Jim?
Fantastic. I think that just put a whole new dimension to it. I love hearing it. I've listened to it probably 20, 30 times since
I know, it's crazy.
I'm addicted to it. It's fantastic, and I can't thank that man enough.
Yeah, so so y'all, that's Toby Tomplay, and it's Tomplay, and his wife Shelly. But y'all, Toby's been jamming it out in South Louisiana for over 20 years. I mean, I know everything from the House of Blues to whatever. And his wife Shelly was a huge fan of Real Life, Real Crime, and she got him to start listening to it. And they reached out to me the other day, and he was like, "Dude, he sent us their latest video, which is released on Apple and everything else. It's called Dreams." And I posted it to the crew page for everybody the other night, and it's on YouTube and Spotify and Apple. And anyway, he said, "Hey, I want to put a jam together for Real Life, Real Crime. See what you think." I said, "Well, you know what? We kind of had some issues with that. Our original theme song, which everybody loves, or 90% of the people love, we had to get away from it for undisclosed reasons. So I did the intro music with the sirens and my son's friend playing the guitar where I read Miranda. Well, as you heard, I told him, I said, we want to keep it bluesy and the feeling, but man, they put it together and it's just fantastic. So yeah, y'all check them out. It's Tomplay, Tomplay. Just Google them for their website, and they're on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. They are dropping a new single every week this month, every Saturday this month. And, Toby and Shelly are. And now Shelly's also a kick-ass artist, and, she goes by Shelly Brown Art. You can look it up, and they're on Instagram. Shelly Brown Art, Tomplay all day on Instagram, and on Facebook as Tomplay. But anyway, I can't thank them enough. They rock. They're going to be taking care of our music stuff.
Their voices are amazing.
Truly are.
It it gives me goosebumps. But they did a tremendous job with it. We can't thank you both enough. And congratulations on all your success as well. You guys rock.
Yeah, and we can't wait to see what we can do together in the future going forward. So we really appreciate it. You taking the time and grinding it out in the studio. I never would have dreamed, we'd have something as cool as that. So we appreciate y'all and we love you. And y'all fans, check them out. We're going to put them on our website and in our show notes and all that. And they'll be part of Real Life, Real Crime going forward. So can't say enough thanks about that. So Jim, before we get started today, we need to touch on the elephant in the room, and which is Courtney Coco, and our investigation into who murdered Courtney Coco. Now, y'all, you've got to understand this is a real life homicide investigation, and we have not stopped. And just like I did the video this week to the crew page about keep sharing it outside the crew page, I'm telling y'all, when you did it, we get more tips every single time. And then we know where the investigation is, and without saying anything, et cetera, we don't even have to do that. But you never know what else is going to get called in that helps make the case even stronger than it already is, which is a slam dunk in my opinion. But Jim?
We will tell you guys this, that come next week, we're going to give you an update on where things are at, period.
Yeah, we're not going to wait any longer. Yeah.
We're not going to wait any longer. At the end of the day, we know where the case is. We know what's going on. It's time. So we're going to update you guys next week, come hell or high water. So stay tuned for next week's episode. And that's all I'm going to say about it right now.
Yeah, I'm saying one or two more things. Y'all, we've literally been waiting for the phone call. So,
which is why you're going to be getting this episode a little later than we would have liked, because we're waiting to the last possible minute. But
that's it. The third week in a row that y'all got, you're not going to get this one till tomorrow, which meaning Saturday. Go Tigers, by the way. And it's just important, y'all. We're going to wait to a certain extent, but we have not gotten off of it. We work on it every single day. And we're going to continue to work on it until the sons of bitches are behind the gates of Angola. And that's it. Next week, you just
plan B, C, D, E, F, and G.
Yeah, just next week, something's coming down one way or another. You're going to know. We're not going to put you off anymore. One way or another, you're going to know something. So we much love and for that family, for Courtney's family, and if they can wait 15 years, we can wait a few more days. But it's important. So, but y'all, we're never going to stop on this case. And we get messages, people saying that we sold out and we quit it. No, we haven't. And you can go yourself.
Go pound sand.
Yeah, go pound sand.
We haven't sold out on anything. We've worked this actively. It's always easy to make this as your armchair quarterback, hoping to hit the DVR to the end and get to the ending of your show. But that's a bunch of crap, and you don't know really what's going on or how much time and all the involvement that takes place into this. It's an active case. If you want the ending, then you go listen to something else until we get to the ending, if that's what you want to do. But when telling us that we sold out and everything else.
Well, it is what it is. Devil has to fight some way, but it's coming. And so just hang in there, bear with us, and keep sharing it outside the crew page. It's important, and keep, showing support for the family. And we love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. So that being said, Jim and I had to reach into the old bag of tricks today, and we're going to do a new episode that none of y'all know about. And Jim, what are we going to call it?
Family love affair. What do you
Jeez, I guess we should. Okay, again, y'all, see, we're unscripted, edited, unedited, and raw, because we haven't even talked about the title of it yet. But the okay, family love affair. Sounds good to me.
It is what it is.
Yes, and it definitely is what it is, y'all. And let me tell you something about Livingston Parish. And Livingston Parish gets a bad rap.
Now, you know what? How about keeping it within the family?
Jesus, you're killing me. The family that plays together stays together. Now, certainly we're not making light of a bad situation, but how about we just call it family, or whatever?
That's fine. That's fine. And look, sometimes we laugh. We're not making light of the situation or trying to say it's not important or any of that other stuff. Sometimes when you deal with these things, the best medicine that you can have is some laughter, and you got to laugh sometimes, because the reality of everything will just eat you up if you don't.
Yeah. So
that's kind of how we handle it.
Yeah, and I mean, I can tell you that. I mean, all the horrible things we've seen over the years and dealt with over the years, and you have to cut jokes when you're amongst yourselves, so you're not crying or eating your own pistol at the end of the day. But it's a very serious story, to be honest with you.
Very
I'm gonna talk about it real quick, because the things that are going on in Livingston Parish now, with the arrests have been made recently, and we are absolutely going to address that one day. But Jim and I are both very, very personally involved in that situation. But I can tell you this: I don't understand why Livingston Parish has so many sex cases. And I mean, Livingston Parish is the best people in the entire world. I live there still to this day. I put it up against anywhere that I've lived. But I know when we're in detectives, it's just seeming like we work so many damn sex cases. And I was talking to
Too many.
an Ascension Parish deputy, detective friend of mine one day. We were at a homicide class. And I asked him, I said, dude, how many sex cases y'all work on average? And he said, maybe 3 or 4. I said, what, a week? And he said, no, man, like every couple of months. And I was thinking, damn, it seems like we do that in a week. And I was joking. I would be like, people come from all over the world to Livingston Parish to commit sex crimes. Like there's some kind of special kitty butter or something. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe we were more proactive in arresting people. I don't know, but this is another one, y'all, and it's just a fucking crazy story. But you can't make this up, and truth is stranger than fiction. But Jim, Hitman, roll with it, cuz.
All right, we'll roll with it. So 2007, it was the beginning of year 2007.
Yep.
I'm up at the detective's office. I happened to be working nights that particular week. Woody and I were on nights.
Yeah.
And, so you come in a little bit later. But at that time, we came in at 2 p.m. and you leave till 10 and you're on call till 4 or 5 in the morning, whatever the heck it was. So I'm sitting up there at the office, early part of the afternoon, and I get called from Uniform Patrol that they needed me to come to Walker, Louisiana. They gave me the address. And the reason for it is that another student overheard a conversation. It was told, actually, he wasn't overheard. He was told directly by this 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy about what had been going on inside his residence. Well, the kid didn't think something was right, so he ended up telling his parents. Parents called the sheriff's office. Uniform Patrol goes out, take the initial statement, realize, okay, wait a minute, this is going to involve some very sensitive information, so let me get a detective.
Yeah, it's a little bit above their pay grade, but yeah.
A little bit above it. It's going to take a lot of legwork and a lot of time, and Uniform Patrol needs to be there to handle a lot of the calls, especially ones that are hot and needing of quick assistance. So let the detective do the long work, especially when it's going to involve kids and stuff that's sensitive in nature. So I go ahead and drive out there. I meet with the Uniform Patrol deputy, and I'm talking to this parent, and she has her son there with her, and they proceed to tell me that the child in question has been having an intimate relationship with one of his mother's friends.
Okay, but let me, I like to interrupt. So just to clarify it, when Jim is talking to the friend of the victim, what's going to end up being the victim in this case. He's not talking to the victim or the victim's family yet or anything. He's talking to the victim told his buddy, hey, this has been going on, and his buddy told his mom, and his mom called Jim out.
Yeah. He called us out, exactly. So I get the information which the kid had overheard, and he said he was specifically told that this child, and we're definitely not going to say the names because of the child, was having an intimate relationship with one of his mother's friends. And so when he gave me that, he didn't have a whole lot of details, and if he did, maybe he just didn't want his mom to hear it. Yeah. But just hearing that alone, knowing that this is going on, and knowing that mom's friend is going to be an adult, you automatically know that this is going to be oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
So
I think that the victim was like 13. Was he 13, 12 or 13?
He was 13.
Okay. Yeah.
13 years old.
And real quick on this, y'all, when we worked nights as partners, during the weekdays, we would come out, we didn't come out to the detective's office at 2:00, and then regular detectives got off at 4, and we would cover it until, like Jim said, till 10, and then we'd split it till 6 a.m. Now, if I took the late part, I wasn't calling Jim out unless I knew it was going to be something big, right? And he wasn't going to do the same. He was going to do the same for me. So I knew when he called me, somebody's sugar was going to turn to shit, man. I knew it wasn't a dead body, but we knew it was going to be a good case.
It was going to be a good one. So, ended up getting the information on the child and what they knew about the mother and do some research and figure out where the address is. And so I, right out there initially, there are certain steps that you have to take. You got to, when it involves a kid, you have to let the Child Protective Services know, because there's things that they're going to do, which we'll discuss later on. But you have to make them aware of it because of the allegation that's being made. You have to look out for the safety and the well-being of the child. That is first and foremost. If the child is in a bad situation, you got to do something about it to take that kid out of that type of situation. So I went ahead and let Child Services know, met up with them, gave them a quick brief of what was being told. I then went out to the residence. And when I went out to the residence, nobody was actually there at the time. I couldn't get a hold of the mother. There was another small child that was there at the house with the stepfather, I believe, at that time, and went ahead and just kind of had a brief conversation. But the mother was not there, and that's who I really needed to speak with. And the child in question was also not there. So I left my information, asked for her when she returned to give me a call, which she did. Later on that evening, she gave me a call. I asked her if she could come up to the detective's office. She couldn't come up that evening. She wanted to come later the next morning, and it was pretty late at that point. So I told her it was really urgent that I needed to speak with her. But she said that she couldn't make it up that evening, but she would be able. She wanted to know what it was about, and I told her I would let her know when I'm able to speak with her face to face. So the child was already asleep. They had school coming up the next day. So it was like, well, I asked her if she'd come up to the sheriff's office tomorrow, and I'll come in early and talk to her. So the child went off to school, which is okay because I have Child Services that are going to talk with him after the fact. But he needed to be in school and keep the normalcy going. Mother came up to the sheriff's office. I bring her into an interviewing room, and I sit her down, and I start asking her about what this type of relationship is that we have been made aware of. And the mother denied it. Like, this is bogus.
Wait. Yeah. Just to clarify, so they understand, I mean, you've said, hey, we have information that your son has been having sex with sexual intercourse with one of your best friends. And she's like, nope. I'm sorry, buddy.
Correct.
Go ahead.
So she denied any that wasn't the case. You have this wrong. It's not happening. And I told her, well, we need to be able to talk with your son. And, when he gets out of school, that's what's going to happen. And we're going to have child services there. And, we're going to handle this. And basically, until we get to talk with your kid and find out what's going on, that's just the way it was going to be. She wasn't going to be able to just go pick him up because at this point, you have to investigate it thoroughly. And sometimes you got to do things that parents may not like, but it's involving a child. So we're going to do what we have to do. So she denied the involvement. She denied anything. I then asked some questions like, because I had met the stepfather, the day before. She told me when it was that she got married, which she had only been married less than 6 months to this guy. They didn't have any children together. He was basically stepdad to her kids from her previous marriage. Just kind of got a lot of those particulars. Went with child services over to where the kid was with school. When he got out of school, we came up to the child services office. And at that point, they have ways of being able to interview and ask questions because you don't want to.
Go ahead, Alex. You want me to go ahead and explain this part real quick? Okay, so y'all, it's called a CAC interview, Child Advocacy Center interview, and what they have is any child that may have had something happen to them. A lot of times these allegations are false. When people are doing it, it's a bad divorce or custody battle or whatever. But regardless, like Jim said, you have to investigate it to make sure the child is safe and to see if there's any validity in the statements. And if there is, then you have to act upon it. So now the CAC, or the Child Advocacy Center interview, is a private building, and they have a forensic interviewer that takes the child into a room, and it's a comfortable room. If it's a younger child, they'll let them play with the toys or do whatever. This boy was a little bit older. The cops are not in the room. All right. Then now we were in another room monitoring the interview through closed circuit television, and the forensic interviewer has an earpiece, and we have a microphone. So if she missed anything from a criminal standpoint, then we could say, "Hey, can you touch on this?" But the thing is, the first thing they do when they go in during the interview with every kid, it's the same procedure. They start out, "Hi, my name is such and such, and can you tell me your name?" And the kid says their name. "How old are you? What's your date of birth? Where are you from? And how many people do you have in your family? What are your name of your siblings?" I can tell you verbatim everything. Then they get to the point ultimately of, do you know what is the difference between a truth or a lie? And like, if I told you the rooms in this wall were pink, would that be a truth or a lie? And the kid says that's a lie. Why? Because they're white, etc. So what they're doing this is all being video recorded, and 9 times out of 10, this is either going for the grand jury, or a lot of times if it goes to trial, they can get away with playing it without having to put the child on stand to further victimize them if they've been a victim. So that's the premise of it. And then now they can't ask any leading questions. They can't say, anything leading. The kid they can generalize about a general situation, but the kid has to come out and say X, Y, and Z. All right. I'm sorry, dude. Go ahead.
No, dude, it's a great explanation.
Well, I've done like 1,000 of them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they need to get the baseline from the kid. That's why they ask the questions. Are they, is this a truth or a lie with the colors of the wall? And they do those things to make sure that the kid understands what's going on, understands the questions, knows the difference between right and wrong, truth or a lie, and they build that base.
And a rapport, too, to kind of put them at ease.
And build the rapport, exactly, because the kids are going to talk more when they start feeling a little bit more comfortable. So they already know what the allegations that were being made. Whereas we have a conversation with the forensic
interviewer
before they even start talking to the kids, so they know what's going on. I had the mother waiting at the detective's office. So where this center was and where the detective's office was back at that time was only a couple of blocks away.
Right down the street. Yeah.
Literally right down the street. So I had the mother waiting up in the lobby of our detective's office, hanging out there, and I told her she needed to stay there because we'd either, I told her that we'd be bringing her child back there afterwards, so she needed to wait there for us. And I did that specifically because if I needed to talk to her, I know exactly where she's at, and if there was nothing that came of it, and and they said it was okay to release the kid back to her, well then we know where to go. So they start doing the interview after getting those baseline questions that Woody was speaking of, and they start talking about what had gone on. And after he got comfortable, the child started saying that he did have something going on with one of his mother's friends, and it had started about 2 months before that, or the current time of when this was reported. And he said it started off with his mom's friend would come over on a regular basis and would always make the comments that your son's so cute. He's a good-looking kid, and would just constantly make these comments. And for whatever reason, his mother thought it would be okay to allow her son to get his first kiss through her friend. She thought it would be a good experience. Her friend was young at the time. Should I say what her age was at the time?
Yeah. I think she was
26 years
26.
old.
But go ahead and she's 26-year-old, and I mean, she was a looker. I mean, she's a very attractive lady. Well, I can't call her a lady because yeah,
very, very attractive. And she's 26. She has a really good job. And, her mom, 40 years old, thought, wow, my son could kiss my friend who was a good-looking woman, and what an experience that would be, and memorable kiss for him to have that first kiss. So
yeah, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about a peck on the cheek. We're talking about a full-on tongue French kiss.
Make-out session.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. So the first time it was a kiss. Then the next time she came over, it was a couple more kisses. Well, then it got to where a plan was put into place where mom's friend was going to spend the night. So the smaller children were dropped off at a relative's house. And so it was just the stepdad, the mom, the 26-year-old, and the child. And I say he's a child because he's only 13 years old.
Yeah.
And it was put into plan. So all week long, this kid's going to school thinking about this because it was put into plan the week prior.
Well,
Friday.
Just real quick, I mean, it's just making my head smoke. Now, you 13-year-old boy, and all you guys out there, and you at 13 years old, you have raging hormones, right? And I mean, you probably whatever but so you get a kiss that your mama says she wants you, or a make-out session that your mama says she wants to.
Okay.
And it's okay. Mama's like giving you permission to mug down with this super hot chick, and it's okay. Now, I don't imagine the kid thought about too much else the whole week long when he knows that she's coming to spend the night. But yeah, let's go real quick on, because I have to touch on the Jim, on the two types of offenders on the pedophiles, y'all, the situational and preferential. That's what the profiles are. Situational is like the ice cream man who snatches up the kid in the neighborhood and rapes him because the situation was right. They don't plan their crimes out, etc. The preferential offender is what this 26-year-old was, whether she knew it or not. They groom their victims. They ingratiate themselves into families that have kids in the age range that they like to offend against, and then they establish trust, and they escalate it slowly, a little bit at a time. Now, this is classic. This is a classic example of preferential pedophile behavior. I mean, just because it's a female doing it to a 13-year-old boy doesn't make it any less egregious. I'm sorry, D. Go ahead.
I know that if I was 13 years old and a 26-year-old woman that was very attractive was into me, I know what I would have been thinking about all week.
Exactly.
My hormones were raging already at that point.
Exactly.
So, and he's got permission from his mom. So, what's the harm in that?
Right.
That's how he was looking at it.
That's where the real offense to me is the mom. But go ahead.
So he proceeds to say about this plan for that Friday night. So he's there at the residence. Mom's friend shows up. Her husband's already there, and the mom, right? So the stepfather, the mom's friend, and the child. They're at the house. They decide to have a little bit of food, put on some TV, and the kid says, but they handed me this like pill to eat. And the forensic interviewer asked, well, what was the pill? And he says, I don't really know what they had, and they told me to go ahead and eat it, and it would make me real happy. So he goes, so I did. And then she starts asking, how did that pill make you feel? And he goes, it was really weird. He goes, I like everything just became like lights, and he was attracted to different lights, and just the way he was feeling, it was just everything was just really sensitive. And I'm sitting in the other room listening to this going, wow, if this kid is describing that they gave him ecstasy.
Yeah.
So do you want to touch on ecstasy?
Yeah. Well, MDMA, they didn't outlaw MDMA until make it scheduled until I think like I was 18, but it was originally developed by shrinks way back in many years ago to use to get their patients to open up in therapy, and it gives you a distinct euphoria, makes a feeling of love and color, sometimes with the colors, but more music, and it makes every touch feel so good. And it's just, everybody knows it as a rave drug, or back in my day, it was an underground club drug. It's for dancing and it's the love pill, basically, and the love drug. And, they used to say that if everybody ate ecstasy, there would be no wars, right? Because everybody would just be hugging each other to death. It's a touchy, feel good, usually like a 4 to 6 hour high. I'm talking about really, really intense for the user, and just a pure euphoria. It does something with serotonin in your brain, and releases the same area, the dopamine's in the pleasure center of your brain. So they gave their 13-year-old kid X, the street term X, or now it's Molly. Jim, I think they call it Molly now. Back in the day, it was ecstasy.
Well, he went on to describe how he was feeling and how it made him feel. And he said that when Mom's friend came over and started to touch him, he just really liked that a lot and was like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm being done. Like, it's just different.
Right.
And he really liked it. So he and Mom's friend started making out, and they were getting all into it. At the same time, Mom and the stepfather were also on X. So was Mom's friend. So all 4 of them are on ecstasy at this point. And Mom and the stepdad are getting heavily involved into one another at the same time.
See, and it means he's sexually heavily involved. I'm going to throw this out there. I should have gave a description like this. Rolling on X is like having a 4 or 6 hour orgasm. That's what it makes you feel like. The pure euphoria. Now, if you can imagine that, then you start to actually have sex or make out with somebody. It's just, mind blowing. And 13 years old. Oh my God. And mom and dad are going at it. I mean, or mom and stepdad are going at it. And you and a 26-year-old are going at it.
Unreal. It still blows my mind today.
It's crazy.
So they then proceeded to go to Mom's bedroom. So all 4 of them walk into Mom's bedroom. He describes how they all got naked. And then when they got naked, he said that she ended up inserting him right into her. So he is now having sex for the first time in his life. At the same time, on the same bed, mom and stepdad are now having sex.
Jeez.
And so this is just taking place in the same room, all at the same time, all while under the influence of ecstasy. And my mouth, while I was in the other room, my mouth just hit the floor. Like, are you kidding me? And this kid is just describing it because at this point he doesn't really think that anybody's in trouble.
Right. Well, that's because Mama said it was okay. Yeah.
Mom said it's okay. So it's okay. I can share this story because Mom said it's all right.
Yeah.
So she went on to ask more probing questions. And so I'm telling her, you know, when I had a chance to speak with her and let her know that I needed a little bit more information, I asked him to describe something that he remembers, because it's important for him to give some details of a few things, because if I can get the others, when I interview them, to say the same, well, holy crap.
Well, then it's a lot.
All the pieces together.
And you're taking away the first thing the defense attorney is going to do is say this kid doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, or he's lying, or whatever. And so, you know, Jim pressing for more information. He knew when it came down time for the parents' interrogation, all we had to do is get something to lock it up and be the same.
Right.
I mean, so he was thinking ahead of time and lining it out.
I mean, at this point, all the different charges are just going off in my head. So I went ahead and she went back in there with the question I needed, and she was asking him to describe certain situations. And he ended up saying that one thing that he remembers, no joke, y'all, was that Mom's friend and Mom were facing each other while being bent over. And they were making out very heavily while the stepdad was behind the mom, and he was behind Mom's friend.
Wait, let's just call it for what it is. They were doggy style, and Mom and the best friend were face to face. And I guess the victim and the stepdad are looking over Mom and the girl's back. I mean, can you fucking imagine that?
This is what was being described and what happened, y'all. And if you haven't noticed yet, I'm more the politically correct one. I don't need to be, but for whatever, one day I'll get out of that role and I'll stop doing that. But
well, I mean, that's okay. We're a good team. I mean, that's what it is. I don't want somebody to lose something in translation. I just vividly in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, they're all facing each other, doggy style. And I'm like, holy shit, you can't make it up. Yeah.
I remember from that room, when I was in that separate room, I pulled out my phone and I called Woody. And I was like, dude, 2-8, you're not gonna believe this. And I started letting Woody know what's going on. And he was like, meet you at the office as soon as we get in.
Yeah.
It's like, you wanted to be a part of this investigation, like, immediately,
yeah.
Whatever you were doing. And so, anyway, back to the story. The kid vividly described that scene and that scenario. And when the interview was over with, we know there is no way in hell this kid's going back to Mom.
Yeah.
So, child services.
We also knew he wasn't lying. Yeah.
And we also knew, he definitely wasn't lying. So he didn't know. Once he gave all the information, you know, that's all he could really get. We went ahead and, you know, child services obviously is already involved. So they're now going to put the kid in the state custody because you can't let him go back to that. So they brought him to the child services department that is also close by, and they held on to him there. And I went back to the detective's office where Woody met me at. And as soon as I walked in there, of course, the mom's like, well, where's my son? And I just looked at her and I was like, well, we're going to talk first.
Yeah, I could tell you where he wasn't. He's not behind your best friend doing her doggy style.
Yeah, isn't that the case? So pull her into an interview room, and, you know, right away, once again, I go ahead I read her Miranda rights, and we have a form that you go through. I know we've described that in the past, where you have them initial next to each spot that they understand, and have her sign off on that. I also video record that, and I just sat back and I looked at her, and I was like, "We had a chance to talk once before, and you said nothing was going on. Well, here's your chance. You want to start talking about what's going on, because we found out a whole lot of what's going on." And he kissed my friend one time. But I thought that was okay. What do you mean it's okay? Like, your kid is 13 years old. Your friend is a grown ass woman.
Yeah.
What part of that is okay?
But you didn't dump that on her first because you wanted her to keep talking. Right. That's both of us screaming inside of her head, like, "Are you fucking for real?" But anyway, go ahead, Joe.
Well, the way it really went down when you ask these questions, and sometimes I like to just get right to the good stuff. You have to lock him in on a statement,
right?
And so I wanted to go over again the lie that she already told me. I want to lock her in on the lie that she's already said, because none of it made sense. It was all full of shit. And then when I go ahead and I open up with what's really going on, we can get down into the nitty gritty of what the real issue is. So we locked her in on her lies. She thinks we're believing it, and then I start, letting her have it as far as, we already know he's already told us everything what's going on. So when are you going to start telling us? Like, what's your story? And she's starting to say that, she allowed those two to make out, her friend and her son to make out, and she was there, and she didn't have a problem with it. And, in her mind, she thought that was okay.
Mom of the year, yeah.
Mom of the year, right?
That's what we should have named the episode.
Then I asked her, but the moment I went ahead and said, I literally sat up in my chair, I got a little bit over her, and I both my hands, I remember being on the table, and I looked her dead in the face, and I said, "You all made a plan for that Friday. I want to know what happened." And at that point, she knew that I knew that she had fucked up.
Yep, she was done.
And she was toast.
Yeah.
And she went ahead and she started to talk about not only the making out.
Wait, hey,
what led up to
real quick though, I distinctly remember you doing this, and you might not remember it, but what you told her was, y'all made plans for on Friday. You said, I'm not fucking stupid. We already know everything. Y'all made plans on the Friday. I remember you taking your handcuffs out and putting them on the desk and saying, and you said, if you lie to me one more time, if you tell me anything that comes out of your mouth other than exactly what happened on this Friday, you try to sugarcoat or anything else, then these are going on, and it's game over.
And the hell with you.
That's right.
Yep. And
and her eyes got all big, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, gigs up." I guess I should have warned my son that it's really not okay to tell other people.
She knew, man. She knew at that moment she was toast, and she proceeded to not only tell us where it started with the kissing, and we systematically walked her through every single event, how she came over the next week, and they made out, and how it progressed. So when she got into the description about that Friday, she told us about everything, the sex. She did not tell us about the ecstasy.
Self-preservation.
So I asked her, I was like, did you give your son something? Did you guys all take something there that you left that part out? And she ended up saying no, that she gave him ecstasy, and that they all took ecstasy, because her and her new husband really enjoyed taking ecstasy and having hours upon hours of sex. So they figured, since they enjoy it and love it so much, and mom's friend likes ecstasy, well, you might as well give it to him, and everybody can enjoy having wonderful sex.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wow. So I proceed to ask her, Well, where'd you get the ecstasy from? And another shocker to us.
Oh my God, I forgot about this.
You want to handle this part?
No, you go ahead. I'll handle it. Usually, you're the one that handles the sensitive stuff. It turned out, just to sum it up, the ecstasy came from somebody that who's very shit. I don't even know how to say it. The ecstasy. It came from someone that we ended up knowing, not from them directly, but from one of their direct family members, and it's just crazy. I mean, you never know what your own family members are doing, but they cooperated 1,000%.
It came from somebody we love dearly,
exactly,
and respect very
to this
dearly
day
with that family.
That's
to
right.
this day, I have nothing but the utmost respect for that family. Love them through and through. But, you know, when they gave us that information, when I got that information from the interview, and just to skip forward a little bit, when we reached out to let them know what we knew, they cooperated 1,000%, just like you would expect it to happen. And we handled business the way that we needed to.
Yeah.
But getting back to the story, she went ahead and told us who provided it. And then she proceeded to tell us that it happened again with the ecstasy the following week.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just the one time. Now it's happened twice.
Yeah.
Same person provided the ecstasy.
Yeah.
Same events happened. The smaller kids went to a relative's house. They had an orgy, all up in mom's bed. Then the mom proceeded to say that she allowed her friend to come over once or twice during the week. And so when the smaller kids were there, she just pulled them to the other side of the house and allowed her friend and her son to go into the back of the residence and get it on. And so this kid is, 13 years old. He's got a very attractive 26-year-old girlfriend for the most part that he's doing things that his friends can't even imagine.
Yeah. And I imagine that him telling his friend is, no, I don't imagine. Boys would talk about boys and he told his buddy, and his buddies, whether his buddy was jealous or whatever, told his mom. Yeah. So, but yeah, he's got it going on for a 13-year-old boy, but it's still a crime. I mean,
it's one hell of a crime.
I think the stigma on it or whatever, boys, whatever, man. I don't know what to say about it. It still blows my mind after all these years. That's been almost 13 years.
It's been a long time, obviously, and it just seems to be an epidemic today with people, like you say. I'm not going to go there right now. Actually, it's a sensitive thing, but you got this kid who's doing all this, and the mom is consenting to the whole thing, so the boy doesn't think that anything is wrong.
Yeah.
But yet she's sitting here telling us of even more times that this has happened.
Yeah.
And each time it happens is another count.
Right. That's right.
It's not like it's just all wrapped up into one.
That's right.
You have to now go back and count how many times has this taken place.
Exactly.
Each one of those is a charge. Now you got, giving the kids drugs. You've got charge after charge. And I'm like...
Yeah, but not only are they giving the kids drugs, each sex act is a separate charge. It's a separate, just like, the ones recently in the news, if it's 60 counts, that means there's 60 different times that this happened.
Mm-hmm. So we proceed to get the rest of the information from her. And sure enough, slap the handcuffs on her. She's going to jail. I've got a full-out confession. I have all her information. Now, I'm going to go ahead and book her. So I remember filling out the booking form. I did my probable cause form. And I needed to speak with the mom's friend. So I went ahead, reached out to her. Woody went ahead and dropped mom off at the jail for me and came back ready to interview mom's friend. So I guess it's okay. I could say where she worked.
Yeah, hell yeah. Go ahead and say.
mom's friend worked at the Mercedes-Benz dealership in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and then, so if you were a Mercedes-Benz customer back then, you saw her and you would recognize her. She was. I mean, I don't think Mercedes. I think must be written in their company policy because I don't think they have any bad-looking people that work there. But I mean, you had this really, really attractive 26-year-old. I mean, working at the Mercedes dealer.
So when I called there, originally when I called, I remember a sales manager answering, and I mentioned that I needed to speak with her. They kept wanting to know what it's in regards to. I clearly tell them I can't speak to that with them, but I'll definitely talk to her. She gets on the phone. I ask her if she can come up to the detective's office. And she's, adamant about not coming up to the detective's office because she's working and she needs to be able to finish her work. And I told her, well, this is really important. You really need to come up here and speak to me. She then asked her boss if she can take a break. And, she gets back on the phone and asks me, if I come up there and talk to you, will I be able to come back to work? I said, yeah, sure. Come on up here and talk to me. We'll let you go back to work. So she says, okay.
Fucking stupid, yeah.
And so she agreed to come on up. So she left work. She drove on up there to the detective's office. She gets there, of course, take her to the interview room, myself and Woody, and do the same process. Give her Miranda rights. We have the form. It's all recorded. She initials, signs. Ask her if she wants to talk. She says she wants to talk. So at this point, you could see the nervous swallow going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's not cold in the detective's office.
She knew.
She's got sweats, beads all over her. I mean, she knew what she was up there for.
Right.
So as soon as I finished with the Miranda, she wants to talk. I asked her, did she know the mom? Yes. And then he asked, do you know her child? And she said yes. And at that point, she puts her head down. And I already knew we had this one won. This wasn't even going to be much of a fight.
There was no mental karate going on in that time.
She knew she was toast.
Yeah.
So I started asking her, questions of, where were you this time, and locking her in on her statements. And she admitted to being at the house.
Let me set it up for you, y'all. See, this is different now. When he did the mom, when you interviewed the mom, he went aboard her ass, is what I call it, right? Sometimes you have to get aggressive to get the truth. This chick, exact opposite. She was like demure from the beginning, head down. So Jim, the ladies like the hitman, right? So Jim closes the distance and starts speaking to her in a softer voice. And okay, can you tell me that he wasn't being hard on this because she was already broke down, right? And if he goes in there, it's like, tell me what happened on such and such, she might clam up. So and he played her like a fiddle.
Like a fiddle. And, I think the drive that she had from the Mercedes-Benz dealership to the detective's office broke her down.
Don't you think that must have been like the longest ride of your entire life? Yeah.
So she was very cooperative with it. I'd ask her, where were you on this particular date at this time? She admitted to being there at the house. And I was like, well, I feel like you have a story you want to share. Why don't you just go ahead and share it? Because we already know it. And she knew. She knew that we knew.
Yeah.
And she just started describing it, that, she had talked to the mom. Prior to the first time ever even kissing the kid, she kept saying how cute her son was going to be. He was so handsome, and he was going to grow up to be a lady killer, so to speak, because of just being a heartthrob. And
not like the hitman, though.
Towards that. What's that?
So not as much as the hot man hitman, but go ahead. I'm making jokes. Go ahead.
So she goes ahead and starts describing that situation, and the mom is the one saying, well, he's never even kissed a girl before. You
Ba-
know, and maybe his first kiss can be with you.
Basically, she's grooming the mom, y'all. That's where the preferential pedophile comes in. She's feeling her out, right? She knew that she befriended her actually not that long before, and I mean, of course, this is after finding out that she has a 13-year-old. Now, preferential pedophiles have a certain age range they like to offend against. So she's ingratiated herself into the family, become friends with the mom, start soft serving her up with, oh, well, you know, he's so handsome and da-da-da-da, a little bit at a time, and pressing a little bit more. And, well, this mom, you know, definitely not mom of the year in the brains department or anywhere else. She is receptive to the attention that this pedophile is throwing down about her kid. And it just fucking mushroomed. Yeah. Go ahead, Jim.
So she describes what has happened, and she described the first time that they kissed, that mom had given her permission. It was okay. It happened in front of mom.
That's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't make out with somebody in front of my mama today, my own wife. I mean, I can't imagine.
She described it. They were in the kitchen. They were sitting at the table there in the kitchen area that they had, and she sat down next to him, and she turned to him and pulled him in and held his hands and leaned in and taught him how to kiss. And mom watched it.
Oh my God!
And that's how it started. And then she proceeded to say she came over the next week, and she then admitted to giving him a blowjob.
Yeah.
The week prior to the actual first time the kid had sexual intercourse.
Right.
So you can see the progression of what she's getting away with. To do it more and more and more so that she can get away with. She admitted to the ecstasy, and then when she started talking about that first Friday that they had sex in the same room, I asked her to describe it more. Describe it more. And it's not that I'm doing this because I want to be a sick bastard.
That's exactly right.
I'm doing this because I need to get her to say exactly what he said in the interview.
Locking it up.
For a fact that this child has not spoken to her since this came to light.
That's right.
So she ends up. I asked her. I said, "Is there something specific that went on, like position-wise? Did you and the mother do anything?"
Hey, she was not bashful about describing sex acts to two men, and I mean it's like that's in her mind. It's just the way it clicks. She's like, "Yeah, I did, blowjob, and I did this and did that," but Jim's setting her up for the nail in the coffin. Go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
So then I asked her, describe that to me. And she said that she and the mom were making out, and she described that they were facing each other doggy style. Well, the child was behind her, and the stepdad was behind the mom, and they were making out with each other and fondling each other's tits.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to lie. I just can't. I remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah.
And she went on to describe it, and then she proceeded to talk about how she'd gone over there after work before and would essentially tuck the kid into bed, but give him some sex before he went to sleep. She described all the different times that happened, and when the interview was over with, she said, "All right, you guys promised me I can go back to work. Can I go back to work now?" And I don't know why in this one particular moment, and I'm just going to tell you what ended up happening. I was like, I could slap the handcuffs on her and walk over there right now. I did promise her that if she came up here, I'll let her go back to work. The child's in child custody right now. The mom's already in jail. And child services we already made arrangements for the smaller kids to go to a relative's house where child services picked up those kids. And I'm thinking, well, she can't get to the kid, so I'm not really worried about that right now. No problem. Yeah, you can go back to work.
You also told her that specifically, we already knew the kids were safe. Otherwise, if there was any chance in hell that she could have had any access to any body, right? But she was told no access, no contact with any kids, much less those kids, whatever, going back to work, and we'll be talking to you soon. Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And she got up to walk out, and I knew that before she even gets back to Mercedes-Benz, I've already got a warrant.
Right.
So really, the only thing that she got was a drive time.
Well, it was also another reason for doing it, but go ahead.
Well, go ahead. I'll let you have that.
Well, the other reason for doing it, Jim knows when she goes back to East Baton Rouge Parish, by the time she gets there, the ink will be dry on the warrant. The warrant's typed out. He runs it down to the judge. Guess what?
I mean, it's literally downstairs from
Yeah,
where we were.
yeah. I mean, we're in the same building, and she could have sat there and waited to do it, and we could have shoved her off to the jail. But there's a little bit of justice in this, if you will, by letting her go back into East Baton Rouge Parish. You want me? You go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. So feel free to cut in when you're ready on it. But Baton Rouge at the time had they still do now. They had a sex crimes division. And they have to work some terrible cases just like we do. And I knew that this is something that they would want in their sex crimes case, because a lot of times it's, I don't know, maybe this is, go ahead, Woody, you just take this part. I got a lot of things I can say. I don't know if I can say it.
All right. So basically, and you'll hear about it in a lot of cases we've done, if we get a chance to perp walk somebody and make an example out of them, we're going to do it. So to not bullshit you, we let her go back across the line in East Baton Rouge Parish, and we already had them on the line. We said, "Hey, got the warrant, faxing it over now." You know, we knew they were going to go over there and make a production out of it, and they did.
They're going to make a production out of it because they had in the past they built some really good cases, and they did some perp walks, and so they have direct access to the news media.
That's right.
And about a sex crimes case.
I
happen to know, and like Woody, we knew some people that worked within that unit very closely.
Right.
And so this case was one of those, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So we went ahead and picked up the phone, and we called them, and literally told them flat out, "I'm sending in a warrant, and it's being entered into NCIC as we speak. This is the person. This is what was admitted and told to us. Confession. Do what you do."
Yeah.
And it was like we gave them a gift.
Yeah, it also takes the news media in Baton Rouge less time to get to the Mercedes-Benz dealership than it does to get to the Livingston Parish Jail. There's no way we could have got perp walked them before. No. They couldn't have got there. It took them an hour to get to our jail and set up and everything else and all that. And so they go over there. They make the big show of it, and the news is there, and they do what they do. And of course, the guys in that unit have a very tight, as we knew all the reporters also, but so they're able to give them a heads up. Hey, we're going over here to scoop this chick for this, listen to this shit, and then tell what happened. So, it was a classic perp walk. And hey, guess what? She went back to work for the last time.
She pulls back into the Mercedes-Benz dealership. She parks. She goes inside. A few minutes later, Channel 7, Channel 2.
Channel 9 and Channel 2, yeah.
Channel 9, there you go.
The vans are all pulling up, yeah. And of course, we're there by that time. We're there not long after watching.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Baton Rouge PD, and they snatched her up and they perp walked her.
Perp walking, y'all, means you have arranged with the media ahead of time, say, hey, this is what we're arresting this person on. These is what the charges are. Put it on the news, and the media loves to be there like such. Did you have yes? Did you have an orgy with this family while doing MDA and da 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 da? And usually, and some of our best confessions are getting the perpetrators the bad guys, when we get to confession, we say, hey, look, the media is going to be out there. You need to keep putting your human face on yourself. And when they ask you, did you do it? Yes. Yeah, I did it. I did it, because I loved her. Or it was an accident or whatever. And that's something else that they can't deny in court. But in this case, it was really about just, throwing a dog a bone to Baton Rouge and to the news media and to exposing the shit bags for what they were.
So there's another piece of this puzzle. So she gets arrested now, but we can't forget about the stepfather.
Yeah.
So we went to go arrest him. We had probable cause to go ahead and arrest him, but he's gone. He took off.
Yeah.
So he knew when those kids were gone, wife was gone, mom's friend's gone, everybody's gone.
And what happened?
Got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, his sugar turned to shit, literally.
His sugar turned to shit. I had to.
And he ran like.
All the list of charges.
Yeah,
guess what?
He ran
just as much involved with giving the kid drugs as the child rape, the accessory to everything.
Yep, and the accessory part, they're just as guilty as her for raping the boy, for allowing it to happen. Every time it happened, they caught the charge too. So, and he ran like a little bitch. I mean, come on, man. I mean, your wife took it and it took her lick, and this other chick's taking her lick, and you're gonna run. So
he did. He ran.
But the one thing is, you can't outrun that warrant. Eventually, that paper will catch up with you eventually.
And you can't outrun the U.S. Marshals, because when they come for you, boy, they come prepared.
That's right.
And,
especially for child sex offenders.
We couldn't find them on our own. We couldn't find them in our own channels. And when I passed that warrant off to the U.S. Marshal Service with those kind of charges, it kind of goes to the top of their list.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll find you. And they did. They found him. And he made his way back to face his charges. And we even cut a warrant. Well, we didn't have to cut a warrant. He was brought to us, the one who
the one who gave the ecstasy. Yeah.
We had to do that. That's just the law, and it is what it is. And the family completely cooperated, and he took this guy took his charge and faced the judge now.
Crazy, man. Crazy story. And I mean, you just don't know what goes on, and much less behind closed doors, but what goes on in people's heads and their minds, and what makes them think that shit like that is okay. And I don't know. And I've done it. I still work these cases to this day. Now on the defense side, especially when the people, I won't, if I tell them, hey, they're guilty, you better plea out, then that's what I do. But there are some people who are falsely accused, and but I just don't get it. Not even on my wildest want to day would I ever dream of doing that. Especially with your kids. So I don't know, man.
Yep, and we take all the right steps, like we did with the forensics interviewer for the child, because a lot of times kids like to go and just make up stories.
Oh yeah,
that's a good way to fact verify.
That's what happens. It could be they're at that age now. Let's say the parents are split up, and they have a boyfriend now, and it's their weekend to go to daddy's house, but daddy won't let the boyfriend come over, but mama lets the boyfriend sleep over. So they're like, my daddy touched me, because they know that. I mean, a lot of the child sex accusations when kids cry out on teenagers, stuff like that, are just bullshit, and they're playing, or the parents are using it. Unfortunately, a lot of them are bullshit, but the ones that aren't, fuck them. It hook them and book them, slam them, lock them away. Got nothing for them. You just eat a bunch of ass. That's what, as far as I'm concerned. So just another good story, man. And y'all, when you hear me laughing and stuff, again, that's weird. I am probably the hardest son of a bitch you'll ever meet in your life. I've probably got more people doing life in Angola for messing with kids than all the cops you ever met in your entire life put together. I mean, and Jim also, we don't take it lightly. Fuck them. They can ride out. I don't give a fuck who you are. And I don't care if we were best friends or whatever. You do that to a kid, you do something to a kid, I hope you get what's coming to you, bitch.
I hope you get an injection, because that's what you deserve. Because I don't believe you can rehabilitate a sex offender.
Nope, 99% mental. And I love the Alabama law coming out now about castrating the sex offenders. Well, guess what? I mean, had one that was 88 years old, and certainly he couldn't get an erection anymore. I got a confession out of him. He's still teaching kids after all the years of being a sex offender. And Jim, did I cut you off?
No, you're here.
Okay. All right. So it's, sex is on that part for them, it's 99% mental. It's about the grooming, about getting away with it, et cetera. Just like this chicken. It's very rare for a girl like this this female to do it at that young. So probably she was offended against also. A lot of offenders were molested or raped themselves as kids, but it doesn't give them an excuse. That's not a fucking excuse. So there's millions of people out there that were raped or molested as kids who don't go out and rape and molest kids when they grow up. So, anyway, I don't know, y'all. It's a story. These things happen. This is real life, real crime. And we're not. Oh yeah, we got 100 of these. But the thing is, we don't say, when we say blowjob or whatever like that, we're not trying to say anything. We don't tell you a tenth of the acts. When we get them to describe the acts, we get them to describe everything and in detail. And we're not going to sit here and do that. Some pervert out there can masturbate to it, but we have to give you enough pertinent facts so you get the true gist of the story. And it is what it is. So, all right.
It is what it is. But thank you all for letting me share this crazy story about family.
And time wise, they got a bunch of time. I don't remember how much, because we did so many of these cases. Y'all, Jim, do you remember? I mean, I know it's more than 30 or 40 years or whatever. They pled them out. Yeah.
They pled down to one count, I believe, which is enough to put you away for many, many years.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
Aggravated rape of a child.
Hey, real quick, y'all, and I know, Jim, I know you have to go, but real quick, I just want to thank all the fans out there. We love y'all. You're huge. The patron members, thank you for the support. The Real Life, Real Crime, we couldn't do it without you. Not everybody else. If you're not a patron member, we love you just as much. Please just keep liking us and sharing us, and our crew page, y'all, Real Life, Real Crime Friends, Fans, and Crew. Hit 7,400 members today. We're doing almost 100 members a day. Y'all, please continue to share that page with everyone you know. iTunes, I think we were 4 away from 1,000 reviews on iTunes today, and almost at 5 stars. So y'all, if y'all will leave us a review, we got some information today that somebody's going to be coming on to help us with our Instagram and some social media stuff. So y'all check us out on those. So we love you, man. We appreciate you. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if y'all weren't listening.
Yeah, we thank you guys very much. Y'all have been fantastic with sharing of the posts, to commenting, to wearing pink or red on Fridays. The more the stuff gets shared, the more tips we would get on Courtney's case. And just, y'all have been fantastic for us. And, none of this would be possible without you. And, we're forever grateful for every single one of you. So thank you. Absolutely.
Really, really appreciate you. And I don't know what else to say, but go Tigers.
Next week. Go Tigers.
Hey, you better believe one damn thing. So something's going to be said about Courtney next Friday, period. And that's all we're going to say about it. So anyway, so yeah, go Tigers. Thank y'all for everything. And Jim?
That's it. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me share that story with you.
All right. And thanks again to Tom Play for the new music. We really appreciate that again. Y'all check them out. Until next time or ever, don't let us catch you down on Murder by You. Peace.
Peace.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during any questioning. You can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights?
Your crime spree was over, son. Yeah, you thought you had it licked, but hitman in overtone made you shoulda turned to shit. Get ready, you're gonna do time.